All right. Nothing like starting off the stream with a little crack in the voice. My voice cracked. That's what I was trying to say. Okay. Welcome to the Saturday stream, everybody. Today we are coming at you with plenty of good stuff. What's been on my mind recently? Truth matters. I believe in such thing as absolute truth. And I believe, more importantly, or of equal importance, that there are people out there who are deliberately twisting the truth. All that and more coming up. We're going to talk about it. Got plenty of stories, plenty of noise happened this week. Before we get into that, sit back, grab yourself a drink of whatever you like. I got Coke. Coca-Cola. Man, I'm just making all the jokes today. Zero sugar. That's what we're doing today. Okay, let's get into it, shall we?
We've got to cut through the noise.
Oh, yes. We are cutting through the noise this week. There was a lot of things that happened. With so much noise out there, it can be hard sometimes to even know what the truth is. You know, oftentimes I will watch CNN. I will watch MSNBC. I will watch all of these mainstream networks. And I got to tell you, even Fox, I leave feeling like I didn't get the truth. You know what I'm saying? What happened to journalism? What happened to people just getting information out to the masses? That's what I thought this was. Something's in my camera here. Yeah, I am filming in my closet. The secret's out. It was safe until the dirty clothes on my hamper was in my shot. Now you know. I'm filming in my closet. Yeah. Anyways, what was I talking about? I was talking about, oh yeah. I always leave with a taste in my mouth of biased news, biased journalism, biased anchors. I always leave watching all of these broadcasts feeling like I didn't get the whole story. And if there was ever a time in our country, in the world, where it would be not appropriate to withhold certain information, if there was ever a time where it would be not appropriate to twist stories to fit your own political agenda, it would be now. Now would be a good time to just get truth out to people. Give them the information. Let them know what that information means. But I'll tell you what, they can't do it. They just can't do that. So we are going to take a look at plenty of things that happened this week. Before we get into that, do make sure that you're subscribed. Turn notifications on. Let me know down in the chat what you think of what I just said. Does truth matter? Is there absolute truth? That's the question of the day. Does absolute truth exist? What is absolute truth? Okay, well, we've heard the language recently coming from left-leaning politics of this idea of my truth. Accept your truth. Become your truth. Live your truth. What does that actually mean? What does that mean? Does that mean that there's truth that only exists for some people? You can't make a true you can't make a you can't make a statement about truth without acknowledging that absolute truth exists. Let me give you an example, and then we'll get into some of the current events that happen. I promise. Just stick with me on this. Let me feel important. I forgot what I was going to say. No, okay. You can't acknowledge that truth exists without acknowledging that absolute truth exists. An example of this would be okay, let's say I live in Italy, right? A relative truth, something that would be true for me and not true for you, would be the fact that the main language that is spoken all around me is Italian. That's a relative truth because it's relative to what I live to the to the situation I am in, to the country I'm in, to the region I live in. It's relative to me. Now, you can't say, or maybe you can, but most people in the world can't say that the dominant language around them that is spoken is Italian. That makes that a relative truth for you. That would be my truth. Okay? But the line where this argument falls apart is when I start claiming my truth to be true for everyone else in the world. Uh, don't touch your mouth, don't touch your eyes like I just did. I was just setting an example of what not to do. Okay? But my nose just keeps itching. So what am I supposed to do? Are all of you out there not scratching your noses? I don't think so. I don't think so. I've washed my hands recently, I promise. But anyways, when this argument starts falling apart is when I take my truth, okay, everybody around me speaks Italian. My neighbors, when I go out to the supermarket, when I get pulled over by the cops, they speak in Italian. Whenever I do anything in Italy, it's probably going to be Italian that is spoken to me. That's my truth. That's my relative truth, relative to the circumstances I am in. When I take my truth and I proclaim it to be true for everyone, that's a logical fallacy. Because there's other people in other places that have different languages. There's other people in other places that have different beliefs and different moral guidelines. So you can't take your truth and proclaim it to be absolute truth. I think you know what I'm getting at. I don't even need to say it. My truth movement. Sure, you can be whatever you want. If you want to claim to be a toaster and marry a loaf of bread, I don't care. I really don't. But when you have absolute freedom to do that, sure, fine. But when you claim that I now have to call you a toaster, or I have to accept the fact that you married a loaf of bread, what you're doing is you're taking your relative truth and forcing it into the realm of absolute truth. You're saying I am absolutely a toaster and you will acknowledge it. When to everyone else, you're just a moron. All of our relatives' truths happen to line up in knowing the fact that you're not actually a toaster. You're a human being. You are what you are assigned or given at birth. You can't outrun this. You can't move past this. You can't outthink Mother Nature. Can't do it. And I will not change basic biology to to pander to your lunacy. I will not do it. Rant is over. Let's get into this, shall we? The noise of the week. What happened this week? Well, a lot happened. As it usually does. Joe Biden made his way into the realm of top stories. I don't know if you saw this happening. The Joe Biden campaign invited people to make their own quote Team Joe meme, and it didn't go as planned. That should be Joe Biden's campaign slogan. I'm Joe Biden, and this didn't go as planned. Wouldn't that be fantastic if he would just acknowledge the campaign for presumptive Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden is promoting a tool inviting supporters to create their own customized meme, showing that they are on, quote, Team Joe. Do you see where this could go wrong? My question regarding this is directed towards the campaign staff of Joseph Biden. You have misstepped and miscalculated so many things this old man is not capable of doing. First off, you thought it was a good idea to do live streams with Joe Biden talking for 14 minutes straight. And if you do the math, Joe Biden, he speaks about 2 logical sentences a minute. So if you take that and times it by 14, you get 28 logical sentences. 14 minutes, 28 sentences. You can't get a whole lot said. You can't get a whole lot said out of Joe Biden. You just can't do it. He's going to stumble his words, much like me. He's going to mix up details and dates, and it's just going to be a mess. Why did you think that was going to be a good idea? And then whoever thought that was a good idea, obviously they still have a job, because now the campaign for Joe Biden created this meme. What do they even call it? A meme tool, a tool inviting people to create their own customized meme, showing that they're on Team Joe. Well, yeah, I could say before even seeing any of this, that probably isn't a good idea. It's probably going to backfire. And we'll get into why this is more important. But first, let's dig further. Why did this not go as planned? Oh, it's going to make me go to theblaze.com. Okay, that's fine. Why did this not go as planned? Let's see. The campaign for presumptive Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden is promoting a tool inviting supporters to create their own customized memes showing that they are on Team Joe. We already covered this. So, Twitter users uploaded fake, quote, endorsements featuring Chinese President Xi Jinping. Devil, several members of media, including CNN White House correspondent Jim Acosta, convicted sex offender Harvey Weinstein, North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. A corn pop made it into the mix. Let's see who's on Team Joe, shall we? The president of China's on Team Joe. Yeah, okay, sure. Sure, why the president of China, he's not a dictator. Sure, his people don't have freedom of speech. Sure, they don't have the right to defend themselves. Heck, they don't even have freedom of religion. Yeah, but he's a president. Right. Okay. Okay, China. Well, he's on Team Joe. Let's see who else is on Team Joe. I guess that's supposed to be the devil. That is completely and totally disturbing. Oh, Jim Acosta made it. I'm on Team Joe. I want my press pass back. I'm sure you do. Oh, look, Kim. Kim made it. Kim Jong-un. The man just can't take a good picture. That's why he's on Team Joe. He always looks like he hasn't pooped in several weeks. Have you ever noticed that? That's my theory. He's not a mad dictator. You know, he's just a guy that is extremely constipated. Like all the time. Let's see here. If we do, look at this. He's constipated. He's constantly constipated. Is that redundant to say? I don't know. Look at this guy. Totally has to poop. He just can't get it out. That's the problem. That's the problem. What a goofy. He can't take a good picture. That's why he's on Team Joe. Let's see, who else is on Team Joe? I'm on Team Joe. Bernie Sanders. Angry old commie loser. You can find more at BernieSanders.com. Thank you. Oh, yeah, I love me some Bernie. His policies are complete and total horse poop. But man, do I love me some Bernie. Fantastic. He made it into the cut. Look who else made it. Corn Pop. Really bad dude. But he was a really bad dude. Corn Pops. Did you know they found evidence that actually Corn Pop really could have been a real person? A prominent gang member? Where's Joe Biden from? I don't even know. They found out that Corn Pop was a prominent gang leader in the area where Joe Biden lived. Isn't that funny? Now, this story probably didn't happen. Joe Biden probably didn't have a knife fight. Probably didn't have a knife fight with a gang leader in the 20s? How old is the guy? That probably didn't happen. But Corn Pop, he was probably a real person. That's fantastic. He made the cut. Who else is a lying dog-faced pony soldier. Nice. Oh, and he's promoting Epstein definitely killed himself. Right. Your backyard. You can't make him up. Oh, the MS-13 gang members Trump war room got in on the fun. This is probably when because Donald Trump's Twitter account, Trump War Room, his campaign account, got in on the fun. That's probably where Twitter decided to draw the line. And I want to talk about this. Because of people having a little bit of fun on the internet. Wow, there's Jake Tapper, Barack Obama, reluctant endorser. Look at these. These are funny. Chief Pocahontas Liz Warren. Get me a beer in my wigwam. Yeah, okay. Kamala Cop Harris. But because of this, because of these harmless memes, right? People are just poking fun at Joe Biden. Forgot to turn my sound off. I apologize about that. Here we go. Twitter suspends prominent conservative for using Joe Biden's meme maker. So the Joe Biden campaign, they come out with this tool to help make memes to show your support of Joe Biden. This tool can't be used to show your dissupport. So okay, what do people who don't want to support Joe Biden do? You could just not use the thing, or you could use the thing to make fun of him. You could use his own tool to make fun of him. That seems like a much better option. So what? That's what people did. That's what people decided to do. And now, because of this tweet, this young man was banned from Twitter. Alex. In the last month, Twitter has suspended the accounts of dozens of conservative bloggers, writers, podcasters, pundits, and politicians, including that of our own Nick Arama, without reason. Two very prominent accounts, Rudy Giuliani and Turning Point USA's Charlie Kirk, were temporarily locked for violating the Twitter rules regarding COVID-19 misinformation. That's how they blanket this. Anything that they don't like, anything you put out that goes against their lockstep politics, their bumper sticker phrase politics, their talking point politics, anything that goes against it, they will say, "Oh, well, you're spreading misinformation." That's why we blocked your account. That's why we violated your freedom of speech. Not because we're control freaks. Not because we're delusional and we think that we can control the very thoughts inside of your head. We will remove one account at a time until we get there. Until Twitter is this euphoria of progressive and forward thinkers. They blanket under this phrase misinformation. But really, what's actually happening is they're just doing anything they can to stop people who are speaking out against their ideology. There's a whole article about this. But look, what would be, here's a question for you. What would be so wrong about the president of China being on Team Joe? As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure he is. If you ask the president of China, who should be the president of the United States? Should it be Joe Biden? Sleepy Joe? Someone you could just push around? He acts all tough, but really people who act like that, are you actually find out they're usually putting on an act for a reason. The guy's losing his mind, like physically losing his mind. He has early onset dementia. Everyone knows it. So, Mr. President of China, who would you like to be president of America? Joe Biden, who can't form a coherent sentence? Or Donald Trump, who will tariff the poop out of you? Who do you want? Of course, it's just a fun little joke. There's nothing inherently wrong with it. And this leads me to my next thing I want to talk about. And that is this. The left has forgotten how to laugh. I'll probably make a video about this as well. People in the progressive movement always thinking ahead, always pushing society. Always moving in the right direction. Progressive politics. People on the left, they've forgotten how to laugh. And this is proof. I don't know how much more proof you would need. The candidate for the highest office in our country made a tool to make memes. Do you know what memes are, Twitter? Does Joe Biden even know what memes are? That's the whole thing about this. They said this tool was created to make memes, to show your support of Joe Biden. Look at showing that they are on Team Joe. Do you know what memes are, Joe Biden? Campaign staffer? Twitter? Do you know what memes are? They're supposed to be funny. They're supposed to make you chuckle. Like just a they're supposed to make you LOL. But but just putting out a picture of Joe Biden saying, I support Joe Biden. That's not a meme. It's not funny. It's only funny when you put something ridiculous on there. That's what makes it funny. The left has forgotten how to laugh. They're too busy policing your speech, which is free, by the way. You have free speech. You are allowed to say whatever you want, no matter how horrendous. And what the United States does is, after you say something horrendous, if it's necessary, like you threaten to bomb something, that will be taken seriously and you will suffer the consequences. Because you spoke and incited violent action. But creating a meme that mocks quite possibly the most ridiculous presidential candidate that we've ever had is not that. It does not warrant someone policing your speech. It does not warrant your public profile being taken down for spreading misinformation. Memes are not meant to be taken seriously, Twitter. You are such a joke. Okay, moving on. Moving on. Let's see what else happened this week. Oh, here's a good one. New York went from demanding Trump send 40,000 ventilators to now giving them away as need decreases. Who would have thought? If you listened to the medical advisor of Joe Biden, you would have thought we would have had to been dealing with coronavirus for 18 more months. You would not be getting back to work for a year and a half. What do you know about that? But all of a sudden, now New York doesn't need as many ventilators as they thought they would. This is just fantastic. Let's read a little bit. New York is giving ventilators away to other states that need them, reflecting how much the state's coronavirus outbreak has evolved over the past few weeks, and how dramatically data models overestimated the severity of the outbreak. Well, I could have told you that. I could have told you that from the very beginning. People on the right have been saying this from the very beginning. You're overreacting. Sure, take this seriously, but don't just be overly dramatic about it. Be safe. Be logical. Now, in late March, Cuomo sounded the alarm that the state would need 30,000 to 40,000 ventilators from the federal government in order to meet the demand of seriously or critically ill COVID-19 patients. I hate when I do that. I'm sorry. I like I sniff my nose in the microphone, and I need to stop doing that. I apologize. That's what an apology sounds like. CNN. Cuomo said, quote, "What am I going to do with 400 ventilators? Well, probably use them. That would be my guess. When I need 30,000." That was the number. 30,000. The governor of New York was saying this. After the federal government sent 400 to New York, you picked the 26,000 people who are going to die because you only sent 400 ventilators. Seriously? Really? That's what you're going to say? Ding, ding, ding. Double standard alarm. Here's how you can know when there's a double standard being taken place. Because the definition of double standard is when you apply certain things to other people, but then you don't live by those things yourself. This is a prime example. Watch. The governor of New York said, "What am I gonna do with 400 ventilators?" I don't even know if he talks like that. I'm just, I'm getting into the part. I'm becoming the governor of New York. Fine, you pick the 26,000 people that are gonna die. Because I know that's the worst New York accent you've ever heard, but bear with me. You pick the 26,000 people that are gonna die because you only sent 400 ventilators, right? And and here's the double standard. Take that same phrase and flip-flop it, and imagine if Donald Trump said that. Imagine if Donald Trump pointed at Jim Acosta in the White House press briefing room and said, "Fine, Jim, fine. You pick the 26,000 people that are going to die." They would tear him apart. They wouldn't even kill him first. They would just eat him alive, right? Well, hold on. Why didn't the governor of New York get torn apart? Why didn't he get questioned on his morals of this statement? This is so insensitive. Fine, you pick the 26,000 people that are going to die. Oh yeah, fearmonger much? Give me a break. And here's the best part. Now New York is giving away ventilators because they, drumroll please, overestimated how much they were going to need. You didn't need 30,000. You didn't need 40,000. Now you're giving them away. But yet you accuse the president of being as bad as telling certain people that they're going to die because you didn't send enough. Maybe you overestimated. Maybe you were being a little dramatic. Not to be outdone, Como said first. Now all of a sudden they're saying, "Can we order 30,000 ventilators?" This is Trump. This is Trump. My bad. Yeah, he said at the very beginning. He said, "I have a feeling that a lot of the numbers that are being said in some areas are just bigger than they're going to need. They're just bigger. China." They're just bigger than what they're going to. Trump said on Fox News on March 26th, "I don't believe you need 40,000 or 30,000 ventilators. You know, you go to major hospitals, sometimes they have two ventilators. Excuse me, 2 ventilators. Now all of a sudden they're saying, can we order 30,000 ventilators? No, you cannot. Here's 400. Merry Christmas, China." I don't know, man. Trump is he's like one of the funnest people ever to impersonate. He has such a huge personality, He's been in show business for like most of his career, right? He's always been this huge television personality. And that's why people just love talking about him. Doesn't matter if you hate him or you love the guy. People love to talk about him. He is this massive, massive black hole of just media consumption. Media love to talk about Trump. And the reason why is because he's a huge personality. But he was right from the very beginning. He said, "You're not going to need that much." Now, New York needed more than 400 to be absolutely transparent. They needed more than 400, Trump. But they did not need 30,000. After Trump said this, Cuomo came back the next day with an even larger request. He said all the predictions you could have had, you could have an Apex needing 140,000 beds and about 40,000 ventilators. I don't have a crystal ball. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but I don't operate here on opinion. I operate on facts and on data and on numbers and on projections. Wait, hold on. You just said you operate on facts and projections. Those two are different. You understand that, right? Projections is quite literally a guess. It's a guess. I operate on facts and guesses. Mostly facts. What an idiot. Okay. Let's get to the bottom of the story. The Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation model from the University of Washington showed the peak ventilator need in New York on April 8th, when fewer than 6,000 ventilators were estimated to be needed. And since then, the need has decreased. It's gone down. You said you needed 40,000. And Trump said, no, you're not getting 30,000. No, you're not getting 40,000. You're getting 400. You used 6,000 ventilators. Just to give you an idea of how far off that is, 6 times 5 is 30,000. The least they said they needed. And what a fail. What a huge 6 times 6 is 36,000. That's still not even 40. They use less than 1/6 of the amount of ventilators that they said they would need. And yet you want us to take you seriously? You want us to listen to every beck and call. We need this, we need that. You can't even get basic estimations right. And I understand. I feel the kind of quite frankly, some of the pain coming from the governor saying, "Look, I don't have a crystal ball. I can't read the future. Everybody's kind of just winging it." Yeah, we are. Sure. But you are so far off, man. It's frankly, it's embarrassing. It's a little embarrassing. Let's move on. I think I've milked that one for all it's worth. Here's a fun one. Crooks bust into apartment in broad daylight but quickly turn tail and run. One jumping a second floor balcony. That's right. When resident opens fire. Quote, homeowner realizes he has the right to protect himself. That's a good picture. See, one of these gentlemen busts into the door. You can see it all on the video, and I'll show you in a second. They bust into the door. They come up these stairs, bust into the door. And then shortly thereafter, the homeowner realizes that they have a firearm and they have the right to protect themselves. Utterly fantastic. these young men. This is not your home. You do not live here. You entered here with the sole purpose of stealing other people's possessions, and you face the consequences. I don't feel bad for you at all. One of them got shot in the chest, is in the hospital. I still don't feel bad. I don't feel bad because you got what was coming to you. A surveillance video showed a trio of men busting into a Florida apartment just before 6 p.m. Tuesday. There they are. He's about to kick the door in. Let's watch the video. Okay, because this can show you just how quick a firearm levels the playing field. Like, these are three relatively grown guys that are breaking into someone's apartment. And about a few seconds later, they're running out of said apartment. Why? Why? Is it because the homeowner said a few bad names? Look, you beeping kids, you better get out of here. No, that wasn't it. Was it because well, maybe the homeowner hurt their feelings? That could be it. Maybe they needed to go to a safe space because feelings. No, that's not it. It's not it. It's because the homeowner had a firearm. And as a law-abiding citizen, they have the right to do that. And what happens next is quite fabulous. Let's watch. Let's watch again. And now let's watch. Oh, that was loud. Oh. Oh, here we go. Jeez, that was loud. I should have turned it down. Was that as loud for you as it was for me? Wow. Holy cow. Oh, here's the guys walking up, I assume. They're just gonna How dumb are you? How dumb are you? If you're in that desperate need of financial gain, go get a job. Oh, you can't right now because of COVID. Yeah. So what are you gonna do? You're just gonna break into someone else's apartment. Well, I can't have a job, so I guess I'm gonna go steal some stuff. Yeah. That's fantastic. The firearm is the only reason that this person in the apartment wasn't severely beat or even killed. Just to make that 100% clear. The firearm in this situation was the great leveler. It levels the playing field. That's why a little petite woman feels safe walking down an alley at night if she has a firearm in her purse. As she should. She has every right to feel safe. And of course, no really news coverage of this from mainstream media. That being CNN, MSNBC. Nothing like that, because what this does is it promotes a positive and some might argue correct image of what a firearm is. It's the great leveler. It takes people that are outnumbered in a situation, doing nothing wrong, just minding their own business in their own apartment. 3 fairly large guys break in, uninvited, with intent to harm, steal, I don't think they were just heading over for a party. I don't think that was on their minds. And the firearm helps this person be able to overcome that. Sets them on the right, on the same level. And I think that's fantastic. I was doing a little research here. Let me see. On the If you haven't gone here yet, go to safehome.org. They have a lot of research material, especially as it relates to home safety in America, and firearm safety would directly correlate with that. So what they've done is they've got all of these very nice and visually pleasing graphs with valuable data on them. Sippy. States with the highest and lowest rates of firearm ownership. Let's look at this. I mean, this is fascinating stuff. I love stuff like this. You see, Alaska has 61% of people own a firearm in Alaska. Arkansas, 57.9 people, 57.9% of people. Here's a surprising. Hawaii was a surprising one for me. I don't know why. It's in the top 10, as 45.1% of the population in Hawaii owns a firearm. That's fantastic. I didn't know that. Idaho, Wyoming, New Mexico, Alabama. All of these are kind of in the middle here. Here's the bottom 10. Meaning states with the lowest percentage of people who own firearms. I believe that is Delaware at 5.2%, Rhode Island at 5.8%. So the two smallest ones have the lowest percentage. That's interesting. New York, not surprised by that one. New Jersey, New Hampshire, Connecticut, Ohio. What is that? Nebraska? I believe that's Nebraska. California. What is MD? Hold on. I don't even know what that is. Maryland. That's right. It took me a second. Notice one thing about the majority of these. The majority of, I'm surprised that Texas isn't on there, on the top 10, but on the bottom 10, I'm not surprised by these. Except for Nebraska. That's kind of a weird one. I'm not surprised. Most of these are in the New England area, Upper East Side, California being the exception. It's just California. It's a mess. Firearm deaths by type. This was a good one. Majority of firearms, firearm related deaths in America. Get this. It's not mass shootings, as you would come to think if you watch CNN 24 hours a day. It's not even just regular homicides. The majority, guys. Majority. This is unbelievable. Majority of firearm deaths in the US. Suicide. 63.5%. You kidding me? Homicide 32.6%. Accidental 17%. Legal intervention / war 1.4%. Excuse me. Oh yeah, we're burning the midnight oil here on the Noise with Nick. Make sure you're subscribed, by the way. so you don't miss out fun things like me yawning. That's just utterly brilliant. Suicide rates by firearm, not really concerned about that. Murder rates by firearm. Let's check this out. Per 100,000 residents, Louisiana has the highest murder rate by firearm. That is interesting. Didn't see that one coming. 9.1 people are killed by a firearm per 100,000 residents in Louisiana. That was shock to me. Minnesota, that is interesting as well. I didn't see that coming either. 8.7 people. Alabama 6, South Carolina 5.5, Arkansas 5.4, Missouri 5.4, Georgia 5.0, Illinois 4.8. We all know where that's coming from, huh? Tennessee 4.2, 4.2, Maryland 4.2. Okay. If you find statistics like that and like this, I mean, they have so much good stuff. And the reason I say that is because I'm a numbers guy. I like seeing the numbers. Numbers do not lie. People lie. People take numbers all the time, actually, and twist them to make them look like they mean something else. But numbers don't lie. People lie all the time. People always have an angle. They always have an opinion, an agenda that they want to push. And I'm not saying there's something wrong with that all the time. But numbers in and of themselves do not lie. That's why I love looking at numbers. The more numbers, if you just follow the logical conclusion, the more numbers you have, the more information you have, the more truth you know. And unfortunately, we live in an era where truth is not that common. Just not. Take this, for example. This is the last one we'll talk about, and then I'll head off for the night. But Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer? You can't make this stuff up. Abortions are, quote, life sustaining. I'm going to make a video about this week. I know it. There's just too much here to talk about it right now. But you seriously, ending a life, or if you don't believe that a baby that has a heartbeat and fingerprints and a fully developed pair of lungs and other things like this are in fact a human child that can feel pain. If you don't believe that is a person, even if you don't believe this, you can't make the argument that preventing that was kind of gross. I'm sorry about that. I honestly don't care. You can't make the argument that preventing that embryo or clump of cells from becoming a person, because it will become a person on your timeline at some point, right? At some point, it's gonna be a person. You can't argue that ending that is life sustaining, is promoting life. How is that even possible? I don't understand. Well, don't worry, because the governor of Michigan is going to explain it all. Whitmer was discussing healthcare and abortion during a recent podcast interview with CNN correspondent and former Obama advisor David Axelrod. That's a fantastic name. David Axelrod. I would have a podcast for days if my name was David Axelrod. when she made the comments. After being asked about her plans regarding other states who have banned abortions during the outbreak because they're not necessary, Whitmer suggested that while elective surgeries have been paused in Michigan, abortions are considered essential and can still be performed. Elective operations are being those are not necessary. But abortions are not, they're not elective. They're not elective. What are you talking about? Yeah, well, they're essential. They can still be performed. It goes against the very language you're using. Typically, those who are in favor of abortions being legal are called pro-choice. And typically, those who are not in favor of abortion and in fact do believe that it is murdering a human child, they are called pro-life. Now these names are self-prescribed, right? So the left describes themselves as being pro-choice. Pro-choice. In favor of a pregnant woman having the choice of an abortion. So explain to me then how the choice of an abortion is not a what was the word that she's explain to me how a choice of abortion is not an elective surgery. What are you rounding up pregnant women and forcing them to do this? Because that's even worse. Tell me how an abortion is not elective. You literally call yourselves pro-choice. And furthermore, explain to me how this is saving lives. How is taking life away saving lives? I'm still confused. Well, she explains it better. We stopped elective surgeries here in Michigan. Some people have tried to say that the type of procedure is considered the same as abortion, and that's ridiculous. Yeah, it's ridiculous, huh? A woman's health care, her whole future, her ability to decide if and when she starts a family, is not an election. It is fundamental to her life. She continued, it is life sustaining and it is something that government should not be getting in the middle of. But you are in the middle of it. You're already in the middle of it. You don't get to get your hands all dirty and then say they're not dirty. You don't get to get your hands all over this and then say, "Oh, but this shouldn't be up to government." No, we're going to regulate it. We're going to stimulate it. We're even going to pay for it. But this isn't up to us. This is a common theme you see throughout the shallowness of left politics. I'm just going to say this and then I'll be done. This is a common theme you see. They cannot hold themselves accountable for the policies that they support, because if they did hold themselves accountable, if they did just look in the mirror for 1 second, they would actually see the truth about their politics. Her ability to decide if and when she starts a family is not an election. Okay. How about her ability to decide if and when she's a responsible adult and doesn't get pregnant in the first place? Listen, I'm tired of the rape argument. I'm just tired of it. I understand that does happen. That's a terrible situation. But as long as we're drawing lines, I don't think it's a factually based argument. Because the amount of times that happens when a young woman is raped and then proceeds to be pregnant And the left want to use that as a pedestal to say, see, this is why abortion should be legal. Well, no. No, you still shouldn't kill somebody just because something bad happened to you. What happened to being accountable for your actions? What happened to being responsible? The left always do this. They want to be irresponsible and then claim that they're being responsible when they're cleaning up the mess that they just made. Clean up on aisle 5. What happened to being responsible? I get it. Okay, you want to go have sex with people. It's your life. You are more than welcome to do that. I'm not going to tell you I'm going to tell you that's probably not a good idea. To have sex with anything that breathes. And just treat sex like it's just no big deal. It's just another thing. It's just love. It's just love. I just love people because I want to have sex with them. Maybe that's not such a good idea. But I understand if you want to have that lifestyle, sure. Fine. Do it. At least be responsible. I know that sounds silly saying be responsible while you're being irresponsible and sleeping with anything that moves. But if you're going to live that lifestyle, have the common sense to take preventative measures, if you know what I'm talking about. And they paint this picture even within married couples. I just wasn't ready for a child yet. Well, then why did you do something that was going to lead to a child being developed? There's other ways to do this without that happening. It's called being responsible. It's called being an adult. It's called putting on your big boy pants and dealing with the consequences of your actions. That's it for today, folks. We're gonna go ahead and cut it there. If you enjoyed, please give a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comments below what stood out to you. What made the most noise in your little listening thingies? Ears. That's what they're called. Ears. Okay. I'm too tired to continue on. I will not force you to listen any further. Tune back next Saturday. We'll be going over the noise that is coming. This next week, there's gonna be a lot more noise made, and we're gonna talk about it. So just make sure you come back. Okay, we're done. Let's get out of here.